Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. It's Monday, so we're here with another devotional. And it seems like just personally here the past month, 2 months, however long, I've kind of been just down and depressed myself. And I know how easy it is to get down and depressed in life. Things come at us fast, things we don't see, things we don't expect. Things don't always go the way we want them to go or the way we expect them to go, but God has a plan. And as I read this scripture today, I think about how important it is for us to continue on, even when we don't feel like it, even when we don't want to, even when things aren't going our way, all the bad stuff is coming up in life. Maybe we're walking through a valley in life. Things are getting tough, things are hard, and we just want to give up. But there's a reason beyond the fact that Paul in several places says, he that endures to the end. We have to endure. We can't just sit down and give up for our own sake, but also for those that are around us. And I want to share a scripture with you from Hebrews chapter 12, very familiar passage. But it's Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1. Just going to read the one verse, give you what I got, and we'll call it a day. And I hope you have a good Monday and a good rest of the week. And maybe I can pull myself up out of the dumps here. Pray for me, because sometimes I get in the dumps. But chapter 12, verse 1, it says, "Wherefore, seeing we are also compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us." Couple of things to look at there, 3 words really that stick out to me is race, run, and then witnesses. Our life, it is like a race. But there's, if you watch, and you can do this in car racing, you can do this bicycle racing, people who run for fun racing, any kind of racing. There's all different kinds. And 2 of the bigger ones, and I think of people who run, there's the sprint and there's the marathon. And a sprint, you run as fast as you can for a very short period of time. A marathon, you watch these marathon runners, they're not super fast, really. They're faster than I am. But they have to run with patience because it's a long race. It's like a little over 26 miles long that they're running. And then you break that down where he writes here in Hebrews, let us run with patience the race that is set before us. Life is a race, but life isn't a sprint. Life isn't, and getting saved isn't a sprint. We don't get saved and we get to the end goal of being in heaven or being through sanctification, getting to the point of being perfected. It doesn't happen like in the snap of a finger. It doesn't happen overnight. But now, granted, time is short and we can look back, and maybe that's why I've been depressed so much lately, because I'm getting older and looking back and thinking I probably have more years behind me than I do before me. But that's a part of life too in the race, is we get to the end and we get there before we realize we're getting there, if that makes sense. Maybe I'm just spouting off stuff off the top of my head. But anyway, our life is like a marathon, and we have to run it with patience. We have to keep on going. We have to, when our legs get tired, when the marathon runner's legs get tired and cramp up, they keep going. Maybe they pull over to the side, or not pull over to the side, but there's a table set up at the side and they get a little bit of water. They drink that water and it refreshes them a little bit. And I get that in my life when I go to church Sunday mornings, when I go to church Wednesday night. And I can get that also from my friends, my prayer warrior friends who are praying for me. Maybe send me a text or give me a call or just come by and say, was thinking about you, praying for you. Keep going, that encouragement. And we need to be that encourager, because for 2 reasons, and not just for our church family and friends and the ones that saved that are looking on. But we go back to this word early on in, or this little phrase here. It says cloud of witnesses. A witness is somebody who sees something, Here at work, we have something come up. We have to do an investigation. We have to go interview the witnesses. We have to say, hey, we've been told this happened, and you were working at this home. Did you see this happen? Do you know anything about it? Blah, blah, blah. Same thing, you have a car wreck. There's witnesses that give to the police report, or you go to watch a court trial or something. Thinking, as it tells my age too, the O.J. Simpson trial was on TV, big popular, and they had all these witnesses that gave an account of what they saw. Well, as we're running our race of life, there's witnesses around us, and they're watching how we run our race. Think about watching a football game, and there's the coach. How many of us, I know I'm guilty of this, are trying to tell the coach what they should do? Well, there's witnesses who are looking at us as we live our life, and we're like that coach, and they think they can do it better, or they need to tell us what to do. But at the same time, they're watching, do we blow up on the sideline? Do we just throw our hat and throw our clipboard and break everything and start slinging chairs when stuff don't go our way? Do we get in the face of the referee when he makes a call that doesn't go our way? Somebody's always watching our life. I always go back to the book of Ruth and the fact that Ruth was from Moab. She wasn't an Israelite. She wasn't one of God's chosen people. But she hooked up with, that's a horrible phrase, but she got together with Naomi and her family. And Naomi and Elimelech and the two sons, they were Israelites, and they came to the land of Moab when there was a famine in Israel. And Ruth married into the family, married one of her sons. And Orpah, the other sister, or the other lady, married the other son. But anyway, we get to a point in the story there where Elimelech dies, the head of the house, the father. He dies. Both of the sons die. And they've been in Moab, I want to say it was around 10 years at this point. The father's died, both sons has died, and the famine is gone in Israel. And Naomi says, I'm going back to my land. I'm going back to my people. I'm going back to my God. And you've got the two ladies there that were married to the sisters, or married to the brothers, Orpah and Ruth. And they both kissed their mother-in-law, and they both wept. They were both sad. But Orpah went back home, but Ruth looks at her and says, not so fast. Where you go, I go. Who you serve, I'll serve. Your God's going to be my God. Where you die, I'll die. And what is that all about? It's about during that 10-year frame of time, things didn't always go Naomi's way. But Ruth was watching her. And she saw how she responded to things. She saw how she responded to loss. She saw how she acted when things didn't go her way. And she might not have totally understood what Naomi had or what was going on, but she saw that and wanted what Naomi had. So back to this scripture over in Hebrews, if we're running our race of life and there's all these witnesses around us watching our life and how we go about day to day during the good and the bad, it's easy to be on the bandwagon and be a fan when everything's going good. Alabama fans, hey, we love Nick Saban. We loved when everything was going good. But did we like the Mike Shula days? How are we complaining about Kalen DeBoer? Think about those things. We're the witnesses watching that team and seeing how they respond to adversity. The world watches us, and we all go through adversities. How do we respond? Do we respond and show them that we live a biblical life on a biblical foundation, that we're trying our best? We're all going to fall. We're all going to fail. Nobody's perfect. But are we trying to be that witness God would have us to be? Because it wasn't just the 12 disciples he told to go out into all the nations and be a witness. When he gave the Great Commission, which, by the way, wasn't a great recommendation, it was a commission. It wasn't just to those disciples. It still holds true to us today that we're to go out and we're to share the gospel and we're to share the love and the grace and the mercy and all these things that God has bestowed upon us to others. And how do we do that? We don't have to browbeat. We don't have to stand on the corner and preach. We don't have to wear a shirt that's like bright orange, like the city wears. It says, I'm a Christian. So they need to see it every day in our life, in our walk, in our race, and how we run with patience. Life gets tough, but sometimes we just have to keep going. Life's not always going to be fun. Things we go through, we're not always going to understand, but we got to keep running, because I would hate to be running a marathon. I used to run some. I run 5Ks, not marathons, but now I'm fat and out of shape and old and probably couldn't run if I wanted to. But I would hate to be in a marathon and it's 26.1 miles long and I run 26 miles and stop because there's 0.1 left and I didn't finish the marathon. So today, the marathon may get tough, the marathon of life. You may get tired, but are you going to finish the race? He said here in verse 2, it goes on, it says, look into Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. Looking to Jesus is the only way we can finish the race. He's the one at the finish line saying, come on, take another step, take another step, take another step. But along the way, we also need to be encouragement to the ones around us, the witnesses that are watching us run our race. So today, if you're kind of like me and you're down and in the mully grubs or whatever it is I'm going through, think about the ones who look at your life day in and day out. You might not even realize it. I realize my family watches me, but what about the people at work? What about the people that I know I stand up and teach Sunday school, the people that are there in Sunday schools looking at me, but what about outside of the four walls of the church? When we're at the restaurant and I get shortchanged or the service is bad or whatever, and they see me. I might not see them watching me. They may be in a corner booth somewhere and they see me. How do I act? How am I running my race? How am I presenting the gospel in my day-to-day life? That's a deep thought, and it hits me just as much as it hits anybody else. Once again, Hebrews 12:1, wherefore, seeing we are also compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. If I can ever help you on your race, that's what I'm here for, because Lord knows I need your help sometimes too. We're in this race together as a church, as the saved. It's not an individual race to heaven. It's to bring us all together. So let's run this race and let's keep the faith.